Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to convert the button-down collar into a cutaway collar. What you see here is a button-down collar. It's more of a fuller collar, when it's on the body. This is how it stays, and it has a button down here. And if you have this pattern of a button-down collar, now how do you turn this into a cutaway collar? Cutaway collar is pretty much like that, more cutaway, and this is really good if you're wearing a tie or even as a casual fashion shirt. It's to make a point of difference, and you can do a cutaway collar. So that is actually the difference of that, you can see. And so that is cutaway collar, and this is the button down collar. Now let me show you how button down collar pattern is. When you lay it flat, you can see, let's work in half so you can see better. And this is actually the shape of the button down collar, right? And so you got that shape there, and what we are working on, turning this shape into the cutaway. So button down collar is more close towards the center front, and this line, longer this line is, it's closer to the center front. So when you turn it down, you see now this is where the center front falls, and so the button down collar turns that way. Now for us to convert this button down collar into a cutaway collar, it's a simple process that we can do now. So this is actually, I'm going to draw a little bit away from the actual shirt collar. So this is the shape of the button down collar, right? So now this is coming this way, and your pretty much your pattern. Now if this is on the fold, your pattern will have like that, right? So, and your button down collar here. Now then you got to decide how much cutaway you want. Now from here, once you turn this in, and since you already got this collar, you can see, okay, now if you turn it in this much, and all that needs to be eliminated, so we can measure that. Let's say in centimeters. If you say this is about 2.5 centimeters. So what you pretty much do is, now I'm not stressing to do this line straight, it's just an explanation. As you know, all the lines on the patterns, either they are straight or they're curved. We won't do crooked lines. So this is just for the explanation, for you to understand. And so what you do is, from this point you just bring in 2.5 centimeters, you mark it there, right? And you take your ruler, right, and to 0 here. This point doesn't change because neck measurement doesn't change, so we're only reducing the front bit of the collar. Just from there you just get this line happening. There you go. So now this was the button down collar, and this is the cutaway collar. Now then it comes to the point, now how wide you want the point of the collar, and this you can decide. Now small as you would go is just a little bit bigger than your collar stand. Let's say if you have a look at this here, so this is your collar stand. Standard collar stand width is about this point here. Normally it finishes around 2 7/8 centimeters, or almost 3 centimeters, right? Now if you do a small collar, and you gotta have at least, now this is cutaway collar, and small collar would be like that's the point, that's probably the smallest you can get. And if you go smaller than that, obviously your collar stand is going to show up, which is pretty much a design error. And unless there's a purpose that you're trying to do just on a different level. But in classic designs, there is something we don't do. So here, and we're going to decide that point here is this point, and that is the collar point. So if you're measuring the collar point from end to end, from there to here, it's about, say, 6.5 centimeters, and it's fairly full of collar, and it's a good size. And I suggest collar size design varies, and also if you want to get a good outcome, you just got to think of the size of the person, the chest size and the neck size. For a big person, if you do a small collar, proportionately it's not going to look good. So you just got to work it out. Visuals are the best. If you have the chance of making like a paper pattern, soft paper pattern, and you can drape it around the neck of the person like that in the paper pattern, you can do this template and have a look. Or you can just cut this bit only in a paper, and you can just put it next to the neck and have a look how it feels. Most of the time your eye judgment works really good, and it gives you the indication of, oh look, it's not proportionate. So those are the things you consider. But then if you're precise, or if you're sure, not precise, if you're sure of the size that you want to achieve, or if you're working with a sample, you just measure this bit here. Let's say now this collar we want to finish up to 4.5 centimeters. Now when you come here, a little thing you do is 4.5 centimeters you mark here, and then remember to leave your seam allowance. And if this is a finished pattern, you just mark it there and you add seam allowance here. And if you're just making the pattern, the cutting pattern, you got to add a centimeter of seam allowance, 4.5 to 5.5, and then you got to shape the collar. Now this part we don't touch when you're making the collar small as a pattern, and so you're going to shape it this way. So when you shape it, you just go gradually like that, because the back doesn't change, back exactly the same. And you can just go, to keep it in proportion, you can just go a little bit smaller back, but make sure, and it doesn't really show the collar stand. See, when you turn it up here, this hardly has anything. So in that case, if I go ahead and do that, the collar stand is just going to be visible. So we are not going to do that. So what we're going to do is, you're just going to clean it up there. And so this is, we're going to take it up to 0 but this point. So we're just going to do nice and gradual curve. Remember we spoke about straight lines and curved lines, and nothing really like drastic. It doesn't work with sewing, you can't work it out, and it doesn't work on the body. Our body doesn't have shapes like that. So it's the practicality and those things you consider when you do pattern making, and for you to become a good pattern maker. And common sense helps you a lot. From the technical things you learn, you always apply your common sense. Now as you can see, now this is going to be eliminated, this part is going to be eliminated. So that is the shape of our cutaway collar, and of course this is on the fold. And then we have decided on this, say 4.5 centimeters. So this you adjust to the requirement, and that's how it's done. And then cutaway shape, if we decided this much we're going to go in, you can even go further in if you want more cutaway. So this is how pretty much the top collar is done. So I'm gonna do another lesson on designing and drafting the top collar, and also the collar stand. So please subscribe to our channel and stay tuned, and hoping to bring you more value. And also we are just in the process of making some pattern making lessons for beginners and advanced level, and also entry level to the fashion industry, and those who wants to learn. Stay tuned and subscribe, so you get the opportunity to get to know as the first people as soon as these things are launched. And hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching, and thanks for your time. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.